Hey, did you ever hear that all old cities used to have root cellars for most of the businesses and homes near the river? And they had tunnels underground, basically connecting everything, basically following the street systems in between buildings. Most old places. Watch that movie Gangs of New York by Martin Scorsese from a few years ago, all these underground places. You wonder if they hide people down there or other things? You ever wonder what happened to the other half of the yellow line in the metro or the purple metro line that was being built that have both disappeared off the metro subway system map here in Washington, D.C.? And hey, have you ever heard about Mount Washington in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Mount Washington is one of those mountains. They called it the greatest resource reserve on the planet at the time. I think they were really talking about the dungeons and the cages that they hold people in down there, as well as maybe some of the ore that they made the poor people who were down in those dungeons basically beating on rocks every day in the dark. And here's an old fable that you might not have heard. And then I'm going to take you inside the Capitol Dome. The old fable is this. Basically, the people who are known as Slovaks today went against Caesar back in the day around the year 770 in what's today called Spain or the Iberian Peninsula. So when Caesar squashed the Slovaks, he sent some of their swell souls to go straight to hell in a place called the Pit. And the Pit is Pittsburgh. In the year 800, a bunch of men arrived at the Pit. The world is connected, and it always has been. And guess what? This whole Western American calendar is a fucking lie. Follow the words, follow the language, follow linguistics. It will teach you basically almost everything. Don't just learn your language. Don't just learn your prescribed religion. Open your mind, look around, read and teach yourself. And hey, have fun.
Lick it. Skate it. Strap it on. Ride it. Skate it. Eat it. Lick it.
Black History Month on the Chesapeake Bay hits a little different. That's because of how many black Americans found freedom out here on these waters. Long before the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation, black Americans earned their freedom out here in the Chesapeake working as watermen. The state of Maryland was one of the first states to issue full citizenship to former enslaved and what were known as seaman protection certificates. These black watermen became skilled sailors out here on the bay, several even rising to the rank of skipjack captain, more commonly known at the time as black jacks. In fact, the great Frederick Douglass actually escaped to freedom in Baltimore using fraudulent seaman protection certificates and dressing up as a black sailor. This allowed him the freedom to be able to escape to Philadelphia. Blackjacks also served as a bit of a training ground for Harriet Tubman, who after suffering a debilitating seizure condition found work on the docks where the blackjacks would process their daily catch. It was there on these Maryland Eastern Shore waters where she observed the secret messaging network between blackjacks and other sailors, who basically served as the unofficial postal carriers in the black community back in those days. She also learned the skills of navigating the waterways and how to use the Chesapeake Bay for survival. It was this network and these skills that helped her free hundreds of slaves throughout the Underground Railroad and even serve as a Union spy. Now, I may be biased, but I reckon not too many states have such great American history all in one area. Hey, if you do, feel free to let us know.
Chicago wasn't founded by a Haitian? Who said that? Why is the statue so small? Why do we only have one in the city of Chicago? Why don't we have them on the west side, on the south side, on the north side, everywhere? Why are we not educating people on the founder of this city? It should be in all school curriculums. We're standing here right now next to the statue of Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, the founder of Chicago, who settled here in Chicago and created the first trade post in this beautiful city. So let's talk about Haitian greatness. Let's talk about the founder of Chicago, a brother, African, Haitian, Caribbean, for the people, from the people. Big up Chicago, black founded city. Let's stand on it. Let's speak the truth. All power to the people. One love. Bless up. Big up, man. All power to the people. We up. Let's go.
This is the Dr. King they don't want you to know.
And it didn't cost the nation 1 penny to integrate lunch counters. It didn't cost the nation 1 penny to guarantee the right to vote. But now we are dealing with issues that cannot be solved without the nation spending billions of dollars and undergoing a radical redistribution of economic power. But you are reminding the nation that it is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages. That we spend $322,000 for each enemy we kill in Vietnam, while we spend in the so-called war on poverty in America only about $53 for each person classified as poor. America's opportunity to help bridge the gulf between the haves and the have-nots. And the question is whether America will do it. There's nothing new about poverty. What is new is that we now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty. The real question is whether we have the will.
I was in the airport in Amsterdam. I was on the phone and I said, Doksha, which means in our language, I'll talk to you later. And the lady next to me was a Dutch woman and she was like, were you speaking a different language? And I was like, yeah. She was like, are you from Spain? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm indigenous from the States. And she was like, you're what? She could not understand. And then She was like, oh, like Indian. Yes, like native to the United States of America. She audibly gasped and was like, I have never met one. I didn't think you guys were still. And then she paused and caught herself. And I was like, alive? And she said, yes. And I said, yeah, well, we're still here first off.
See, some things in life are kind of crippling. And so I've had a crippled time, a lot of it. But check this out. On New Year's Eve, I took myself out for dinner on Capitol Hill, and it was very good. But there was a bunch of Capitol Hill people talking, and I mean Capitol Hill, the place where they make the laws for the United States, and they pass the budgets and put us all in debt and make the wars and all the other things and sign all the paperwork and put it together and make the laws and vote. And they hang out next to the Supreme Court and then send their work to the president to sign it. And I listened to their staffers talking about how they can take out a petty cash. One was saying $30,000 a month, and one was saying $100,000 a month. And then I thought about my life and homelessness and disability and all this stuff. And then I thought about all the other lives of people having a hard time. And I thought about Capitol Hill staff members saying just at their own, what's it called? Leisure or decision making or whatever. One of them said he takes out about $30,000 a month in petty cash. And one said $100,000 a month in petty cash. A lot of people in the United States of America earn about $30,000 a year. Very few earn $100,000 a year. So, that's one of the benefits of being in Washington, D.C. is firsthand seeing what the fuck's going on now.
Lick it. Skate it. Strap it on. Ride it. Skate it. Eat it. Lick it. Strap it on. Ride. Skate it. Lick it.